Hello and welcome to the Cyber Weekly. The Cyber Weekly is a podcast which talks about cybersecurity. Be sure to like and subscribe the show. Let us know what we can change on the show, and we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So be sure to be the next subscriber of the show. Today we welcome Garima. Garima, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So who is Garima?
Okay, so this is kind of like a multi-layered question. It
Sure.
all depends on, there are these like certain milestones in my life where before that I was a different person. Now I'm a different person. But I can basically start with who I was before and who I am now. Before I became a mom, back in 2022, I was a product manager working on, B2B cybersecurity applications for, startups and bigger companies as well. And after I became a mom, I took a career break, raising my son, because I found working and having a kid at the same time kind of like um, a big, overwhelming thing. So now that I'm like I've been on this career break, I it's more like a journey actually. There's a lot of things I've learned about myself. Certain like qualities and everything. And now I'm completely different person who wants to, work in cybersecurity, but also help make this world like a better place. And yeah, that's kind of how um, who I was before and who I am now.
That's interesting. So, if you are diving into who you were before,
Yeah.
you have two master's degree,
Yes.
one in project management and the other in information security. How do you compare the two, and how did they help your career?
So I would say my first master's that was in information security from Georgia Tech was my stepping stone into cybersecurity. Um, as I was looking at options after I finished my undergrad bachelor's degree, one of my options was to come to the US to do my master's. And cybersecurity was something I started developing an interest after taking one of like an elective courses in my bachelor studies. I did a course on cryptography and network security, which I absolutely loved. So when it came to choosing a field for my master's, I decided to do information security, and Georgia Tech being one of the best schools in the United States, I put in my application to, study over here. So that's kind of how I decided with that. Project management, even though the master says it's project management, I ended up taking a lot of business courses along with it to help supplement my product management career. So I ended up learning a lot about, creating business plans, creating project plans, and just stuff about project management in general, but also learning about leadership and, uh, how to run a startup and other things. So that was just another kind of thing to help supplement what I was working on at the time.
So, how do you now bundle all that? Because most of the times, if you're having an organization, we look at
Hmm.
things like security in general, like email
Hmm.
security and all those things. Uh, how do you ensure that an organization is actually in such a good posture that they are able to implement that and also include that in their security awareness?
I would say that's kind of something an organization needs to, assess their cybersecurity program and see, like what kind of maturity level they're at. But even before they do that, like the creation of the cybersecurity program depends on all their, business objectives and how we can utilize or help the company realize their business objectives as such. So, for example, if I was working for a candle making company, I want to work the cybersecurity program that I would create to help protect this, candle making company would be around protecting the servers, making sure, they're available online. So these would be my goals. And based on these goals that will help achieve the business objectives, I would then, work on finding solutions on, okay, I think we need a firewall or we need this product and that product. So it all depends on that. And once I have a cybersecurity program in place, and every year I would, assess it, see if there's more things that we need to add based on, how the business is evolving. Do we need to, is it mature enough to protect against the threats that we have in the world today, like AI is an evolving technology that is being used by companies but also by bad actors. Are we at this time ready to deal with threats related to AI? So all taking all of that into consideration is how I would build my cybersecurity posture, and then also use those things to create my cybersecurity awareness training as well, since that was one of the things you mentioned. And then, yeah, based on that, that's how I would start basically.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, if an organization already has a framework already available, now, basing on what they are leaning towards, because you definitely have multiple organizations, uh, what is that way that we could say, how do we transition an organization from one phase to the other, if it is compliance or if it is something to do with ensuring that, let's say, their level of maturity is different from what you would expect it to be. How do you usually transition that?
So just so I understand, your question is about
Developing the maturity of the organization.
yeah.
Mm.
That way, first, like I said, we would do an assessment to find out gaps in our current state and what future state we are looking for. That, this is what I would like my cybersecurity program to look like, and this is what it is today. And once we do that gap analysis, based on the results, create like initiatives or projects to, help us get to that future state. And during that 1 year or whenever the next assessment is going to be, the transition period, during that transition period, create these projects and help transition that company from this maturity level to the next.
So now when it comes to that also, now if you're looking at the different I'm looking at also the career itself. You have held different
Yeah,
positions
yeah.
in your career. Uh, uh, what has been that thing that has stood out for you in cybersecurity as a whole with these different positions you've held?
Uh, The fact that cybersecurity as a career, like people who've picked working in cybersecurity, is I think the reason that they're passionate is because they all want the world to be a better place, and everyone has something or the other to do with contributing to that. For example, before this. Before I became a mom, one of the reasons why I loved cybersecurity was I personally love helping people. It makes me happy. And cybersecurity, that kind of, is like, okay, I am, working on building products that would actually help, protect companies against attacks and, defeat bad actors. So I'm kind of doing my contribution in helping the world make a better place. Now that I'm a mother, I actually want to, like create a safer world online, and create and make it much better. But my motivations have changed, but it's still the same goal. So I'm sure, other people also have these kind of motivations wanting to work in cybersecurity. And that's kind of something, it stands out for me because all of us, are together here to work towards this one goal.
Because your mother, does it mean that you're nowadays more leaning towards looking towards the future more compared
Yes.
to back then?
Yes, I definitely keep worrying about, things that I read on the internet about, kids being affected by, bullying online or some of the other dangers of, social media, and how now, again, like I mentioned, AI being this, new thing on the horizon, how this is all going to change in the future, because we know the AI that we have today is going to be the AI that we have in the future is going to be way different than what we have today. So just worrying about those things as a mom, definitely I need to think about like how I can keep this world, keep it safe for my son to be online whenever he's ready.
Yes. Then you had a career break and you're still
Yes.
having it right now.
Yeah.
As a mother, why was it essential for you?
Um, so I personally, my mother passed away. So when I had my son in 2022, I had some help. My sister was here, but she also had her own life, so she couldn't really stay that long. So it was all on my husband and myself to, raise the baby, take care of the, nightly feeds, doctor checkups and everything. And while I was working from home, that was, a good benefit, but I was still finding it very hard to, uh, balance working and being a mother, because being a mother was such a new thing to me. I had zero knowledge on the subject. It was, you're basically learning on the job. You're basically doing like two full-time jobs at the same time, and that mental load on a first-time mother can be too much, especially if you don't have help around. So that's why I needed to, uh, pick one kind of what I wanted
Yeah.
to, focus on. And I focus on first, raising my son and making sure that when he's, ready and I can send him to daycare without, having to worry about what is he doing? Is he eating well? Is he sleeping enough? Is he making friends and stuff? So all of these thoughts are not running in my head constantly when I'm working and, keeping me distracted. So I personally also needed to be ready for that. And that's why I entered this career break, I guess.
Yeah, that is interesting. We'll dive deep down into that also
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we continue. What in terms of continuous learning, that's how I actually got to know about you when you passed your
Hmm.
security plus. That's when I
Yes.
asked, how did you actually do it as a mother? Uh,
So this was one of those things where I kind of went on this like, frenzy of like, oh my God, now that I've taken this career break, I need to actually like, do something to keep myself in touch with, what's happening in the cybersecurity world. And I decided that, okay, I need to get like a cybersecurity certification just to show recruiters when I'm, back from my career break that I am still up to date on my knowledge and everything. And I ended up buying the Security Plus voucher. um, but like I mentioned, because I was also raising my son at the time, studying for the Security Plus and raising a baby was not working for me. So and people may not know this, but when you buy a Security Plus voucher, it's actually valid for a year. So I did not know that when until I reached like on that 12-month period, I was on my 11th month. And I realized like if I don't take the Security Plus exam in the next 1 month, that money that I spent buying that voucher is all going to go to waste. So I started studying, I think, 2 weeks before the exam. And the good thing was because I had a background, my master's in information security, I've worked in a cybersecurity company and everything. I was kind of familiar with the concept. So it wasn't as like I was learning something new from scratch. It was just basically revising my concepts. So I was basically anytime, like by that time, actually, my son had started daycare. So from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., I was basically just going through all of the study guide that was provided by CompTIA, and I did an online course that I found on Udemy or Udemy. I don't know how you pronounce it correctly, but I went through that during those 2 weeks when my son was at daycare or if he was napping at home. And that's how I did it. And I left 3 days before my exam to just do all the practice tests. So I could, get an idea of like what the questions are going to look like. And yeah, so I took the Security Plus exam a day before my voucher was supposed to expire. And yeah, I passed. And when I did when I passed my exam, I thought, you know what, all these things that I learned um, in during my preparation is something I'm sure other people would actually like love to know as well. So that's how I ended up creating that post. And for some reason, it just went viral on LinkedIn. I had almost around 2,000 people actually like that post, message me about that, hey, we loved your post and your entire, journey about doing the Security Plus was, it inspired me to take that. There were so many messages, it was hard for me to actually keep up and, reply to every single post. But, I appreciated everyone's messages that, people actually kind of connected with being a, busy mom, or even like if you're not a mom, but you're working full time, you basically have some other time commitments, but you still somehow, manage to um, make time for yourself and achieve your goals. So I think people related to that. And yeah, that's how that's how that post started kind of going viral. But that's basically how I got my Security Plus.
Yeah, that's interesting. Definitely, that is one that also caught my eyes. I was like, oh wow, I should
Yeah.
also take my Security Plus seriously. That is actually one of the reasons why I was able to do the Security Plus. And I was
Yeah.
like, if a mother can do it, why shouldn't I?
Yes, that's true.
So I was able to successfully pass it.
Oh,
Now,
congratulations.
thank you. Now, when it comes to continuous learning, which other ones are you looking at? I've seen you do the Coursera one. Is there any
Yes.
other?
So that I did just to figure out like what kind of roles do other roles are in cybersecurity.
Mm.
So like I said, as working as a product manager, I know there are a lot of transferable skills that I can take to this, new career path that I'm on. But I still wanted to, know what other roles are there, how they work and everything. So I ended up doing that Google Cybersecurity Analyst certification just to see what a cybersecurity analyst works on, and he does. Um, but personally, during this continuous learning journey, I've realized that I'm more interested in GRC, and that's kind of the career path now that I'm pursuing, becoming a GRC analyst or a GRC engineer. There are different, titles for this role. So that's now what I'm trying to, um, pursue and keep learning about. And I ended up taking some course on fundamentals of GRC provided by an organization called Cyversity. And they do a lot of these, certifications and courses for people who are, underrepresented communities in cybersecurity. So it's a great organization to join, and they do a lot of these programs for people who are interested in starting their career in cybersecurity.
And that's interesting. Actually, my mentorship was from Cyversity, so
Oh,
I
okay.
am I'm a very strong
Yeah, you're
member of
familiar with it.
Cyversity.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
familiar with it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Me too.
so, how was actually, have you gone through their mentorship and how has it been for you?
It's been great. So, that was around the time when I had decided that, okay, now I'm ready to, get back to working full time. And, the job market is really kind of tough these days. So definitely, if I wanted to start in a different career path, I wanted to see if I could get some mentorship from, a person who's established in the industry. And that's how I ended up joining Cyversity and learning about their mentorship program. Personally, I mean, the mentor I was paired up with, he was great. He had kind of the same interests as me in GRC, and another one of my interests was in cloud security as well. So that's how we got paired up, and he taught me a lot about, building your brand on LinkedIn and basically the career path that I want to be on, what kind of, certifications I can pursue and everything. So it was, great 16 weeks of one-on-one calls and learning from him. And yeah, I definitely uh, recommend to people, if you're starting in cybersecurity, definitely try to see if you can find someone to mentor you in this difficult job market. And just in general, if having a mentor is great because they can help you evolve into a person that you want to be to succeed in cybersecurity.
Definitely. Some of us wouldn't be here without mentors. So
Yes,
yes,
definitely.
definitely, definitely. Yeah. So how is it essential to ask for help? Definitely with mentorship, you realize how much asking for help is very needed, and especially in
Yeah,
this place of cybersecurity where there's a lot of imposter syndrome.
yeah.
So how do you find asking for help, and how do you actually look for that?
So that's actually been one of my toughest things as well. When I mean, I know I go back to, talking about when I became a mother, but it's kind of been one of those, um, impactful milestones in my life because, like I mentioned before, there were a lot of skills that I've learned because of that experience. So, like I've mentioned about my struggles of, being a full-time mother and, working full-time, one of the struggles was I wasn't asking for help enough. I kind of, was like, oh no, I can, do it all by myself. I'm going to be one of those super moms who can, do like raise their baby, but also do, meetings full time. And I just was being really very crazy thinking that I could actually achieve everything. But over the course of like, motherhood, I have realized that you cannot, achieve everything by yourself. You need to ask for help. So that's kind of where I have started like actually putting my pride aside and asking for help. And that's kind of made me a person who's more comfortable asking for help because I wasn't like that before. And I mean, mentorship was one of the ways that I reached out to people in the cybersecurity community to ask for help on, how I can get started, on tips to succeed in this career. Other ways is just, connecting with people on LinkedIn, and, DMing them about like, hey, can I have like 5 minutes of your time to, just to speak with you and like understand what you're working on and, just any opportunities that I can get. So it's kind of become more and more easy to have to, do that. And that's what I have been doing actually. And I've been, engaging more with people on LinkedIn, telling them, like, especially if I see posts about people struggling and stuff, I try to like tell them, hey, it's okay to, ask for help. I am now also doing my own work to, break that stigma about like, don't be so, rigid in not in asking for help. It's okay to ask for help because this community is so wonderful and helpful that people are ready to welcome you with open arms into this community. And they would be, ready to help you any way you can. You just need to ask.
Yeah, that is true, especially with the level of imposter syndrome in the cybersecurity. If you don't ask for help, you feel like
Yeah.
it's only happening to you and it is unique
Yes.
to you. But
Yeah.
if you talk to people, you find that, oh,
Yeah.
this is actually normal and it's
Yeah.
doable.
Yep.
Uh,
That's why another thing that you notice on LinkedIn is people who actually post stuff about, like, their struggles and related things that, they're facing in their personal life, about work and everything else. You will see more engagement on those kind of posts because there are so many people who actually relate to all of that. And you can then tell, like, okay, yeah, I'm not the only person who's facing this. Those are the kind of, I think, things that people need to share more on LinkedIn to help break that stigma around, like, asking for help, or like even the imposter syndrome that, oh, what am I doing here? I don't belong in this community. That's not the case. So I think the more people actually, open up and share, I think that's helpful too.
so before being a mom and being a mom, what were those? Because when you are looking at cybersecurity
Mhm.
prior, how was it like for you compared to now?
I think before being a mom, sorry, I have my son here as well. So um before I became a mom, I think I would say I was less of a team player than I am now. Um, I was more of, like, and even at work, I think more of an individual contributor. But now kind of I think it's corny to say this, but when my son was born and everything, my husband and I actually became this team. Like, we would sync our schedules. Like, okay, from this time to this time, can you take him? So, I can do, like, either go to the gym, or make dinner or something. So some of the things, like, uh, you kind of learn as you go. So I think that's one of the things that I kind of learned along the way of raising my son. And I feel like it made me better at collaborating and communicating, especially like the asking for help, or telling my husband, this is what I want to do right now. Can you, help me and everything, and not expecting him to, like, read my mind and actually, figure out on by himself. So um, that, I think, definitely improved once uh, once becoming a mom, I guess.
I think the one thing you have highlighted, which department picked off very well, is the communication, which
Yes.
needs to develop, especially when it comes to talking
Yeah.
about what pains you. Do you find that that was also a very integral skill you've learned along this?
Yes, yes. So there was another post I did on LinkedIn, which a lot of people ended up relating to. It was called, like, 6 reasons why cybersecurity is a great career for moms. And I started that as like a joke post because, I was like, okay, let me be funny. But I ended up, like, a lot of moms reached out to me saying, like, this is so true. And one of the things in that was that, we know how to communicate much better because like, I know how to communicate with my toddler, I know how to communicate with my husband. So you kind of learn, like, these skills of, like, okay, based on, like, the person you're interacting with, like, what kind of details they need to know. You will not, like, go on and, like, say 1,000 words to a toddler or something. You know what you need to say for them to understand what you're saying. You know what you need to say to your husband so he understands what you want or what you're trying to do. So that way it's like, moms have these skills to actually succeed in cybersecurity because of just these the things that they need to learn while raising a kid.
True. One thing I learned from being a child is the body language of your mother, which which can dictate whether you're doing
Yes.
something right or doing something wrong.
Yes. I think my son is starting to pick up on that. If I give him a stern look, he immediately stops what he's doing.
That's interesting. So what advice would you give someone who is a mom and is starting cybersecurity, or someone who is in cybersecurity and wanting to be a mom and looking at the toll of it all?
Yeah. I would say it is a struggle initially. Um, like I said, you have to, ask for help. Do not be naive like me and think you can do it all. That you can, study full time, raise a kid full time, work full time. You need to, cut back on certain things, and communicate more with your partner about what or how they can help you in achieving your goals as well. And you know, cybersecurity is a great community in general. There are so many organizations out there who will help you, get your foot in the door. They can help you with courses, with content to study, anything like you. If you need to gain knowledge, there are so many, free courses online. You just need to ask. And people are so willing to help you. So my advice for someone is just, ask for help, communicate better, and, just network as much as you can, because that's a best way to, grow your network and get yourself started in this industry.
You've hinted about networking. That one people don't usually talk about it a lot. How do you network? Because people might assume it's just
Yeah.
DMing people anyhow. What is your strategy around it?
So, like I mentioned, because I'm a cybersecurity member, I actually end up getting access to a lot of like conference events and stuff, networking events, where I get to, go and meet other people who are working in cybersecurity. So that's one way to network. They do like workshops and stuff where I actually ended up meeting a lot of people from a company, and they told me that they do this like happy hour and stuff. You can come in and meet with other people. Like I was interested in talking to someone working in GRC. They're like, oh, we have this happy hour at this time, why don't you come and talk to them? So I actually ended up like going and meeting someone who worked in the GRC team, and they ended up giving me a lot of advice on like, okay, these are some of the things you need to study and stuff for interviews. And when you're doing interviews, you can talk about your experience in these things. So that's a great way to find or network with people who are in the same position as you. Another way I do network is engaging with other people's posts on LinkedIn. This was the advice my mentor from CyberCity gave me. He said if you engage with other people, they'll also want to talk to you, and they will add you on LinkedIn, and you can, reach out to them in case in the future if you need any help from them. So yeah, just try to be open and as much as possible, and engage with others however you can. You just need to look for opportunities, and you'll get like plenty. There are different like networking events and everything happening for different organizations. You just need to, find out either through LinkedIn or someone else. So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Any parting shots for our audience?
Um, I would say I hope you guys relate to my story of being a mom, and learn lessons from it. Just understand that you cannot have it all, but if you can ask for help, and reach out and network, and grow your community as much as possible, you can achieve anything you want. Just need to you know um, eh, need to, what do you call it, put your pride aside, and ask for help and network.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank
Definitely
you for having
many.
me.
Mm, you're welcome. I'm sure many moms would find this conversation very appealing, and also people who are in cybersecurity in general, and see how someone who has been able to be a mom and also be a person in cybersecurity in this day and age is
Yes.
quite interesting, and it's interesting to see your journey, and I can't wait to see what more. I'll just be checking out your post, stalking you very well, hopefully.
Thank you. Thank you for the
So,
kind words.
yes. Other than that, be sure to subscribe to the show, and then see you all in the next episode.
Thanks.
Thanks.